Okay, here we go. I have been so reluctant to do this, but I have heard you. Voiceover it is. I am so sorry. The audio quality that I have had on my last few videos has just been appalling, and I am so sorry for that. So, if you're still sticking with me and toughing it out, I am happy to tell you that you now get to hear my crackly, awkward voice and my random thoughts about the stuff that I did on my ride and maybe stuff that is going on generally in the EUC space or things that I'm thinking about. I'm not super eloquent, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. As you could probably tell, I am on the adventure, the v14. If you're just now catching up to the world of Inmotion and what this whole v14 thing is about, well, it's a number in a series, right? So I'm not exactly sure what the exact first one was, but I think it was the v5, to my knowledge, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. And then we got to the v8, and that's when I hopped on board. I had heard that it was this super durable wheel, and subsequently, I wanted to test this whole EUC. I thought it was called Uke. I wanted to test this whole Uke thing out. I still have some friends that call it Uke. And funny enough, when you call somebody that you have labeled in your phone EUC, Siri does not understand that. What she does understand is Uke. So whenever I call my buddy, it's like Adam Uke, not Adam EUC. And you would think that I would remember that, but I don't. It's just something I constantly get reminded about. This wheel. Dude. Honestly, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, if you've seen me riding, then you know I've been riding, I had the EXN, right? I had the V12, I torque, ridden the Master, Patton, and the Challenger. This wheel feels like, if I can put it, it feels like they've taken the notion of the V12 high torque and the V12 high speed. They kind of like brought those components together, but with a whole lot more power, so you get like that speed and that torque feel. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. Oh, see, you're gonna have to pardon my ADD. So the name v14. This thing, we had the v5, the v8, and then we had the v10. Those are all like commuter things, like beginner kind of wheels. This one is just a whole different animal. This one is, it's crazy. So the V12 is when things started to get really like hairy for Inmotion. They decided that they wanted this like performance thing, and when they decided to do that performance thing, they shot for the moon with that 16-inch platform and 43.5 or 43.7 miles an hour or something like that is what they did for the V12 high speed. And that was profound for the time and was the direct competitor with, I think it was with the Nikola. And I swear, on the V12 high speed, if you wanted to go like 20 miles an hour the whole time, it would take you for 100 miles. It was a very peculiar wheel, to say the least, honestly. In that regard, it felt like a sleeper Sherman, really. Just how much range that you could get out of that, or that I could get out of that. Florida weather makes for, I think, like the best range, honestly. Just the temperature, respectively the humidity. So, I guess the things to like really stand out on this wheel is like the power, suspension, the balance. it's very, very well balanced. When you go to pick it up, you know, off of the kickstand, you'll notice that it doesn't want to like fall forwards or backwards per se. It's just really well balanced. Like the pendulum, it just knows where it's at. Like when you try to go forwards and backwards and you're like nursing that notion, it's just insane how it works. It's just like it doesn't feel like there's any weight to it. It feels lighter than it should. It feels lighter than a V12, or you know, like more responsive in that regard than like a V12. It is the wheel that I've always wanted. I'm not gonna lie. It's you know, you know I love the patent, but it's a cow, right? Like it's and I'm gonna have to throw some bio pads on it. I want to be fair because I really gotta know in my mind if like it's just that much different. But this just feels like what a 16-inch wheel is supposed to feel like. In your mind, if you've ridden like a 20-inch wheel and a 22-inch wheel, well, when you go down another size, and semantics on the size, guys. Yes, the tire on this one is 18 inches, but for simplicity's sake, let's just use the class system that we've been using. So we got this 22-inch wheel, we got this 20-inch wheel, and that's where like the master hangs out, right? And then we got this 16-inch wheel, which is like where the Nikola and the 16X, the 16S, the V12, that's where all those hang out respectively, right? And the ride characteristics when you go from like a 20-inch wheel like an EXN to a 16-inch wheel like a V12, it's very different. The size of the tire really affects how you're going to be able to handle in a huge way. That made the V12 high speed and high torque small track favorites for me. Like if there was a lot of turns in a track, then I really like to lean into that 16-inch platform just because the diameter makes it easier to like grab the turns at speed, which is something that's a little bit harder to do the bigger the diameter the tires get. It's just the nature of it. So there's a characteristic when you drop down, right, from that 22 to that 20 to that 16, and that characteristic it felt missing when I got the patent. And I love the patent. The patent is super duper smooth. It's super duper powerful. It's absolutely amazing. It's built like a tank. It screams quality when you hop on it. So like this is like not a direct comparison in this regard, but the patent is hefty. It does not feel like what you want from a smaller wheel. The patent, probably, maybe it feels more stable at speed. Maybe even, it encourages you to tap that top speed quite a bit. But this, the way that it handles, like the agility of it. I'm gonna start that hashtag agile. Agile adventure hashtag, because this thing just has so much power throughout the whole band of the way that it's geared. So what I mean by that is that, like, okay, this is a 4,000 watt motor, right? It's a 4,000 watt motor. Okay, so this motor is capable of generating more speed than what is on tap. Okay, so they've intentionally geared this low, kind of like you would like a truck or something like that. But instead of it being like sluggish in its response and timing like a truck, it's very, very, very
quick. What do you think?
Very, very quick in the way that it responds.
Yo,
so super duper duper.
In the jumps,
nice.
I'm noticing that it just really wants to give you a lot more lift.
I think
it's really quick to just give you that send off, but it doesn't. It's crazy because it feels plush, but at the same time stiff. It's really hard to describe. I'm about 90 kilograms with my body and all the armor and gear on. It's insane, guys. It's insane. So.
Anyway, standout features. The suspension. What they've done with the stanchion thing is just absolutely nuts, because it translates into a coil shock system that is not nearly as the slider system feels a little bit
It's a freaking, it's the best.
It doesn't feel solid. I think that's the best way to say it. It's serviceable, but it doesn't feel solid. There doesn't feel to be any loose parts, any loose bolts, nothing like that. Everything feels very, very, very tight. The headlight's pretty cool too. They've actually they did this thing where they have like managed to cut off the blinding factor, which honestly I'm kind of upset about because it limits the throw distance. I like a little bit more throw distance, but because of the way that they've done the headlight, it doesn't work so well. I think you can tell from the trail and, you know, the jumps and the speed and just the way that it's handling that, I mean, it speaks for itself. I don't really have to, you know, gas it up. I haven't had any issues with the cutout. What I'm going to try to do going forward is respond to you know, some of your messages in the comments. So these are biopads, C3 biopads from Clark, and they were sponsored actually by NAPSHAPPEN, a local company in Gainesville, Florida, that sponsors scholarships for kids in Newberry High School. So it's a lifestyle company that really tries to be active. Big shout out to them. Big shout out to Jason over at eWheels. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. I don't have any affiliate sales or anything like that, but get your wheel there and you'll be much, much, much happier. They just care. They care immensely. So there's that. And big shout out to Inmotion. Love you guys. Shirley, Clark, Rachel. Anyway, talk to you later. And yeah, please be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, because it's true. I do cry at night. Bye, folks.